On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, Cody Wilson flees to Thailand, the Down syndrome hustle, stolen college Valor, and Cannonball Run changed my life.
Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 108 of the John1911 Podcast. How's it going, Freeze?
Actually, pretty damn good.
I'm glad. We've had a hectic morning. About 7 o'clock this morning, my entire day exploded.
Oh, well, I worked last night, so my entire night exploded. So,
yeah.
So screw you and your 7 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm a little disappointed because I had today's podcast all planned out. I was going to talk about AFTAB Parabol and how his name sounds like a union. And I wanted to talk about how Burt Reynolds died. And as a child, I was sad to discover that the Trans Am Fire Chicken is not really a muscle car. But apparently, we have to discuss Cody Wilson of the 3D printed gun fame for breaking news from yesterday.
Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, talk about a toxic son of a bitch that self-exploded. I mean, he just like himself. It's like, what the hell?
So, all right, let's give the listener that may not know who this is. So, if you have been following the news and you've heard about, you know, all the brouhaha supposedly of these 3D printers that somebody has made so you can print guns. You and I have debated this subject. The person who's responsible for all of this being in the news lately is named Cody Wilson.
Okay, let me just preface this by saying that our debate, and those who follow our podcast know our debate on the whole 3D printing thing. The conversation we're about to have has nothing to do with my opinion of 3D printing or your opinion of 3D printing. It's this. We're just going to talk about this guy, and
we're going to go back into how you and I know how dirtbags work.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah. This involves sugar daddies, hookers, minors, and the internet and the police. Oh. We know all about this bullshit.
Oh yeah, we do. Absolutely. Like,
okay, so let me give a short, because you've had a chance to read up on it better than I have. So apparently Cody Wilson, I think he lives in Texas, and if he does, oh my God, they're going to shoot him. So apparently Cody Wilson.
Well, I don't know where he lives. I'm assuming he lives where his business is, and his business is in Texas.
Okay, Cody Wilson. Apparently, alleged, he has not been convicted. So for all the false flag people out there, I'm going to throw you a bone. Cody Wilson was arrested for hiring an underage prostitute and paid her $500. That's an expensive hooker.
Oh, yeah. But you know what, though? 15-year-old hookers don't come cheap unless you have a van that says free Wi-Fi on the side.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, so he hooked up with this chick on, I don't remember the name of the website, and even if I did, I would be real cognizant of actually saying the website on the podcast.
The website was something. It wasn't like there's one out there. There's one out there that's something like Sugar Daddy and Sugar Baby. It has the name Sugar Daddy in it, but it is not that website. It's something else.
Yeah.
So it was a name that I hadn't read before. And apparently, so here's the way it's reported in the media. Well, it's interesting because the media is not actually calling the girl a prostitute, which I thought was very interesting. She's a hooker, but
here's the thing: she's 15, so they don't want to sit there and call her a hooker and a prostitute because they don't want the bullshit that would come with that because she is a minor.
Legally speaking, prostitute or not, she's the victim. So here's what happened.
Yeah,
apparently,
kind of, whatever.
Now, this hasn't come out, so I don't know. You know what? I guess this begs the question. How did we get to where we are now? Do you know? Were the cops laying in wait looking for a reason to get him, or had they heard about him, or were there rumors, or was it the girl's life exploded and her parents turned her in?
Okay, well, here is what I got out of the story. Now, bearing in mind, you have to understand that this guy's doing the whole 3D printing gun game, and the government's not exactly his best freaking friend. So, without going into the whole conspiracy theory bullshit,
and that's a legitimate concern here.
Yeah, exactly. But from what I get is this 15-year-old girl is a bona fide freaking hooker. Okay? So
it seems to be the case.
Yes. So all of a sudden, her parents find out about this. Now, here's what they don't explain. They don't explain how the parents find out about it. It might be because she had 5 $100 bills on her person, and they're wondering how their 15-year-old daughter got $500 in $100 bills.
Mom was doing the laundry, and 5 $100 bills fell out of the floor in the laundry room.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, apparently the parents, quote unquote, turned her in. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the story at this point.
The parents apparently said, they called the cops and said, search her goddamn phone.
Yeah, so they went into her phone, and I'm sure the parents went into her phone and looked at all her text messaging and shit before they even called the cops. But anyway, supposedly it was the parents. But, dude, if you look at all the freaking evidence they have, they're out to get this guy because of what he's doing. Now, and again, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm not trying to say he's innocent. Oh shit, no, I'm not even going to go there. But
he's done.
Oh, he is toast. He is so freaking guilty. It's amazing. But when you look at the articles that are out there, and they're talking, and they're, usually when prosecutors are setting up a case, they're not real open about their evidence. Oh my God, they're just telling everyone, this is what we got.
Well, that's the thing. What they've released is so compelling, it makes you wonder what the hell they're still sitting on.
Exactly, because they're not telling you everything, and what they're releasing is so amazing, it's like, holy crap.
So remember, we have always told our listeners and viewers and readers, back even during Tactical T-shirt days, you are always on camera. You are listening to this right now. There are minimum 2 cameras recording you, audio, video, or both.
We are recording this podcast right now, and I can tell you for a fact, if you include my internet, security cameras, I am on 3 different, well, actually 2, because one of my cameras I keep tape over.
So I could still do audio, but here's the point. So here's what they released. Let me see if I can do this off the top of my head, because I'm driving and I can't look at notes. So they have released, I believe they have text messages between him and the quote perpetrator victim.
Yes.
Perp Vic. And then they've got a coordinated plan to meet somewhere. They've got, I believe, video of him picking her up somewhere.
Yes.
They've got video of him going to a hotel.
Yes.
They've got records of the valet and the time that he valeted his car. They've got video of both these people, him and the perp Vic exiting the car. I believe they have video of them going up to a hotel room in the hotel.
I have video of going into the room.
Because a lot of times they put video cameras in the hallways now.
Yes.
They've got video of them leaving the hotel at a very short time stamp. It's probably less than an hour. And then they've got video of him driving 30 miles and dropping this girl off at some place.
At a Whataburger's.
Yeah, the Whataburgers. And it's just like, dude, I got to admit, when I read the Whataburger, it was like, oh, that hurts. Like, you would think it would have been worse, been like, oh, he dropped her off at Candyland. It's like, oh, no. It's like, oh, no. Like, if I was his lawyer, I'd be like, oh, no. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem this guy has. So, is this girl like is she some like super hooker that's got a black book of customers and Cody Wilson is one of 5, 10, or 15? Or is this the first time this girl ever did it, and then it's happened to be Cody Wilson, which is a little weird in a way, but then it begs the question, okay, this seems pretty slick. So is this the first person Cody Wilson has paid for sex? Is this the first minor Cody Wilson has paid for sex? Is this the first time he's used www.hooker.com, or is he using a bunch of these outlets?
Okay.
And
I'm going to take a guess and say it's all of the above. I'm going to say it's not his first time using hookers.com or whatever the website was. I'm going to say this is not her first quote-unquote hookup /John/cash daddy.
Cash daddy.
Well, look, I mean, okay, she's 15. I'm not going to cut her any fucking slack. She's a goddamn whore.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to make a point here that to the viewer and listener that doesn't know as much as you and I know about how the world works, because we have both is it swam? We have swimmed in some pretty muddy waters.
Oh yeah.
Let me give the listener a little pro tip here. Okay, you are engaging in questionable activities with somebody who is of high school age or younger. You're going to get caught and you're going to go to jail. And here's why. This is how this always happens. Okay, this even happened with like Heidi Fleiss in some cases. What you end up happening is, you have a girl, because typically girls get paid for sex. You have some girl, she's whatever. Let's say she's how old are you when you usually start high school? 14 to 18, 13 to 17. So you'll have a teenage girl who all of a sudden, now unless she's living in a bubble, and teenage girls don't, they're very social. They start showing up, they have money. They start going places, they start having nicer clothes. They start not being available to go to where, like, they're not, where's Candy tonight? She's not at Whataburger. Oh, she's at www.cashdaddy.com, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is, these girls, guys too, I guess, when they flash the money, they start having things that aren't normal and access to things and schedules of things that aren't normal indicators of somebody like a broke-ass teenager. And this is what always gets them, because they start telling one or two of their friends, like, don't tell anybody, but in case something happens, I'm going to go meet Gun Freak 49. And, no one ever there. They're all over each other, and they're all telling the stories. And then girlfriends, boyfriends, they're breaking up. Girls are jealous of other girls. Girls, she's got money, she's got nice clothes. They're hearing rumors. She's turning tricks. They start bad-mouthing her to the whole school. They always get caught. This is none of this shit ever works. They always get caught. And that's basically what's going to end up happening here. So, it's just like, oh, shit. It's like, so here's the question. So, do you think they were looking to get him? Do you think it just happened to get him, or do you think they were watching him?
Okay. Now, bearing in mind, I don't know the answer. I'm totally speculating on this. This is just me being an Alex Jones conspiracy theory freak here. I think they were watching this dude, and I think they burned him when they caught him fooling around with a minor. Yeah. I personally think it was set up. Maybe it wasn't. I could be wrong.
You mean set up?
No, not set up to where they set up the minor. Well, I think they were watching him. I think they were monitoring his phone. I think they were
possibly.
I think they were waiting for him to screw up, and this was like manna from heaven.
So what there is,
and also I want to mention that when they put out the, because they have a wanted poster from this guy, because we haven't mentioned this yet, but he's in Thailand right now. But
what? I didn't know he was out of the country.
Oh yeah, he's in Thailand. There's actually a wanted poster. There's an arrest warrant out for him, but he's in Thailand, which has no extradition. Wink, wink. I knew this was coming.
He knew he was going to get popped.
Exactly.
He heard it coming. Oh my God.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think they knew. I think they were waiting for him. I think he screwed up. But get this. Apparently he has some quote unquote skin condition. So as part of the arrest warrant, not only they have a warrant for an arrest, but they also have a warrant to photograph his upper legs, I guess from the knees, because this 15-year-old girl, who I guess was down there getting busy, noticed some kind of I don't know if he's got a birthmark, or maybe he's got rosacea or eczema. I don't know what the hell.
Herpes.
The crack AIDS. Who knows? But apparently part of the warrant is they get to photograph his upper legs from his junk to his knees to corroborate.
They did that. Do you know what? They did that shit to Michael Jackson, and I think they tried to do that to Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
I remember
but
well, here's the thing. I remember like reading the information they had. They had all this electronic proof, and they questioned this girl, and she started telling the story, and so they went. And they were like, okay, if he picked you up here, let's contact that business and let's see if they have security cameras. They did it, and it was like, oh, look, there's fucking video of them. Then they went to this other place, and there's fucking video of them. And she said, we went here. And the thing is, she has such – it's interesting to say this comment. She has such credibility right now because everything she's saying is turning out to be true.
It's crazy because – she's telling the story, she tells the story. Okay, he picked me up here, we did this, we went there, we did this. And they're like, okay, well, the easiest thing to do is tracer activity. And everything's recorded, as we've talked about time and time again. And they pull all the surveillance video, and they've got his vehicle. They've got his vehicle license plate number, which is registered to his company. And, they've got all this information. And then all of a sudden she's like, well, while I was down there getting busy on his junk, oh, by the way, he's got some kind of a skin blemish on his legs, or they don't go into detail as to what it is, but it was enough for the prosecution to get a warrant to actually photograph
his erogenous zones, which is a pretty high bar.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe the guy's got a freaking Prince Albert with, devil's horns on it or something. I don't know what the hell it is. But basically, when and if they ever do apprehend this guy, they're taking pictures of his shit. Because
I did not know he was in Thailand. Do you know when he went to Thailand?
Well, apparently he left like a week or so before the actual arrest warrant got put out. So here, this begs to differ. He had inside information because the article said, well, he travels for business. Dude, the guy's in Texas and he makes 3D printed guns. Why is he traveling to Thailand? Bullshit.
There's no business in Thailand.
No, there is no business.
I mean, I'm going to kick the 3D printed guns a little bit. If you need guns in Thailand, you ain't buying those shitty 3D printed guns.
Exactly.
There's plenty of fucking guns in Thailand.
Exactly. You don't need 3D printed guns. Buy a case of AK-47s.
I know a guy that bought RPGs in fucking Thailand.
No. Okay, so here's what I think. And again, this is me speculating. Don't take me for face value. This is me just making shit up. I think the little 15-year-old crack whore tipped him off. Oh, my God, my parents found out. They called the cops. You're in trouble because, you paid me $500 to suck your dick. I think she tipped him off, and he got on a plane and went to fucking Thailand, which happens to have no extradition to the United States.
Well, here's the it's possible that she tipped him off. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
It's possible she tipped him off, but also the thing is, there's so many people being talked to and being questioned by the cops as they're getting the information.
That's true. The valet he tipped $100 could have called him and said, "Hey, man, the cops were here talking to me." I mean, so
it's more than that. Look, let's be real here, and this is people aren't going to like this when I say this. They are not going to like this. Teenage girls are not independent thinkers. No disrespect. Teenage boys aren't independent thinkers. The truth is, if there's one girl on this website turning tricks, there's probably more of them. And they know each other, and they all probably run in the same circles. And once they started, once the information crossed the line, it went up. I guarantee you that whole website fucking heard about it. People ducked off that website. They were like, holy shit, the cops are around. Everybody get the fuck out of here. Like, there's no way this girl all by herself, that she didn't have a friend help her do it, or maybe go with her the first couple times. Like, hey, can you go with me to meet this guy? Like, I have seen this fucking story 100 times. There's more. It's not just one girl.
Right. I mean,
somebody just ruined prom for the 2019 school year because Miss Homecoming Queen just got disqualified.
Yeah, exactly. But look, it doesn't matter how he was tipped off, but the point is he was tipped off. And the dude's in Thailand, and you can't see my air quotes right now, but he's in Thailand on business. What does a 3D printer guy who's printing a 3D at a pole barn in his backyard with a staff of 3 people, he's doing 3D printed guns, what business does he have in Thailand? The answer to that is none.
Well, staying out of jail would be apparently a full-time job for this guy.
For him, it is.
Yeah. It's just like, it's the thing is, there's people listening to this and they're kind of like, oh, what do we care? What does this have to do anything? Or there's some people going to be like, false flag or whatever. The thing is, when you look at the history of firearms development, especially since probably about the mid-'70s, you start to see a trend where a lot of these people that start firearms, that like move the firearms technology barrier forward, a lot of them end up in like bad circumstances. They end up in jail. They end up tax problems. And Cody Wilson has gone from being this guy who's like, the Second Amendment community is going to hang their hat on him, and all these people that are talking about him, to now he is literally going to be a footnote of another dude that was trying to push things forward and is going to end up in jail.
You know what this Cody Williams guy is? He's Bill
Cody Wilson. Cody Wilson is his name. Cody Wilson.
He's Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby spent 50 years being every kid's friend. Jell-O Pudding Pops, Fat Albert, all these crazy funny movies. He was the quintessential. He was the dad. The Cosby Show. He was the greatest. He was the all-American fucking dad. He was an awesome guy, and all of a sudden, he's roofing chicks.
It wasn't all of a sudden.
No, that's the thing. I mean, no, it's all of a sudden in the media, but he'd been doing this for. This Cody guy is the Bill Cosby of the gun community. Look, I commend him for his 3D business and what he was doing with the 3D gun printing, even though, I mean, you can shit on his product all you want. That's not the point. But look, 3D printed guns have to start somewhere. And
within 100 years, it'll be a viable technology at some point.
It won't be 100 years, but whatever. I don't want to get into the same argument we've argued on the last 3 podcasts. But look, the thing is, he went from being the guy who starts the industry, arguably, but let's just say the guy who starts the 3D printed gun industry, to being the guy who was buying 15-year-old prostitutes. And it's just like, dude, you just set the whole industry back. You basically hurt everyone who's pro Second Amendment, pro gun, pro 3D printed gun, pro new gun I mean, dude, just the whole thing. This guy just fucked everyone.
Oh, here's the thing. It's actually, we kind of glossed over this. So when he's talking to this chick, her name is, I don't know. I don't know, like,
like just call her
jailbait, 20-year jailbait. She's 20-year jailbait, and she's not, and she wasn't talking to like Mall Ninja 47. He told her who he was. And at one point, apparently,
here's the quote. She didn't know who he was until she said, he told her, I'm actually a big deal, and she Googled him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the world, I guess they live in. I mean, that's where I have to admit, like, a lot of these hookers and how they operate now, because a lot of them are all internet-based, and, I don't know what all the protocols are, but it's just like, I guess they got to tell each other who they are. And, it's just like, I'm kind of a big deal. Like, don't you know who I am? And it's like,
hey, so all I can tell you is I'm a big deal in Japan.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God.
It's like, come on, dude. I mean, he did everything humanly possible to fuck himself. And actually, he paid good money to do it. I mean, it's like, come on.
Here's the thing. I don't know the situation. I didn't know he was in Thailand, but he's not 100% safe in Thailand. And I can give an example. A lot of people won't know this, but there used to be a guy. He was a huge international arms sales guy. He did a lot of illegal gun sales. Like if there was a like an embargo or UN sanctions or limitations or whatever, you can't sell guns to these people because they're giving guns to these groups or they're engaging this stuff or they're, whatever. So this guy's name, his name was Victor Boot. And actually, I think you spelled his name Butt. And I remember old Victor. And Victor, the rumor was that Victor Boot, spelled Butt, was a retired GRU major. And Victor Boot was selling guns to everybody all around the world, basically on behalf of the Soviet Union and Russia. And like he was selling guns to the Taliban. Like there's a couple planes that are crashed in Afghanistan. Some like big transport planes. They're Victor Boot's planes. Like there was like a crew that had landed in. They took them hostage and they had to pay money to get them out. That's Victor Boot's guy. So he eventually got boxed in more and more and more and more, so he couldn't travel. I think he had a house in South Africa at one point, and ended up having to flee South Africa. So he ended up in Thailand, and I can't remember exactly how they did it, but the ATF, the FBI, the Department of State, I can't remember what other group was involved. I don't think it was the CIA. They set up Victor Boot somehow.
Yeah.
And they got him arrested and had him extradited to the U.S. Now, it's because he was a big international firearms trafficker, of illegal guns, ITAR violations. But here's my point. Cody Wilson, he better calm the fuck down in Thailand, because if he gets to be too much of a problem, and he's involved in a bunch of shit because maybe he loses his mind, he's like, I'm gonna fuck all you guys. They're gonna get him, and either we're gonna get him or the Thais are gonna kick him out, and he's gonna end up in fucking Myanmar, because that'd be about the last place he can go. After that, it'd be like he can go to, after that he's gonna end up in like Donbass or some shit in fucking eastern Ukraine, because he's not gonna have anywhere to run.
Yeah, I mean, look. At the end of the day, this guy is going to eventually make his way back to the U.S., and he's eventually going to, go to trial. Maybe he'll cut a deal. Yeah, I mean, they may cut a deal with him for him to come back to the U.S. I mean, I don't know. But you know how these things kind of work.
Yeah. You charge high, and then you start negotiating.
Yeah.
And, here's a good example of this. I mean, doesn't apply to this situation, but it is about guns. So in the state of Ohio, I think they changed the law, but in the state of Ohio, if you had a magazine that was 31, basically larger than 30 rounds, according to state firearms law, any magazine larger than 30 rounds is considered a machine gun. And it was that way for, decades in the state of Ohio. But, nobody...
It's different now, but...
I don't know if it is or if it's not. But the thing is...
Actually, the law now in Ohio is 75.
Is it 75? But what it used to be was... So
it was
anything over...
31 and over.
31 and over. But here's the thing. You could go to all these gun shows and all these places, and you could buy 40-round AK mags and all this shit. Because here's how this all worked. Very rarely did anybody ever get jammed up for having a magazine over 30 rounds. And the truth is, most law enforcement would have been surprised. They're like, really? It's fucking considered a machine gun? That's fucking stupid. But here's what happens. So when they bust a guy who's in the dope game, and he's got a bunch of dope, and he's got a bunch of illegal guns, and he's under disability, if they find any magazines that are over 30 rounds, or drums, they charge those as machine guns. And so when they start the negotiations, like, well, I'll give you this, you give me that. Oh, yeah, we'll take the machine guns off so you don't do 500 years in jail. And it's like, so there's not a whole lot left to negotiate on because there's so many charges, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wonder what's going to happen to Cody here. What else we don't know?
Oh,
I'm kind of a big deal.
Look, I guarantee you, we know a lot, but we don't know nearly everything. I guarantee it. Because I mean, I was actually amazed when I read about this, the amount of information that they released on what the prosecution actually had. And the only thing that went through my mind is, holy crap, what the fuck do they have that they're not telling us if they're actually telling us this much?
The thing is, if they
never throws their cards on the table and lets everyone see what they have.
Well, if they're going to get warrants to investigate, his devices, his computers, maybe his iCloud or clouds, they may have leads to other girls or other stuff. Like, here's the thing: if he's hiring underage hookers, you think he's also possibly doing dope with any of them?
Oh,
there's a good chance, dude. Oh, dude. No, I can't believe everyone's so shocked. You mean you can get minors to do shit for dope and alcohol? No.
Yeah, you know what? $500 and an 8-ball of cocaine. Bingo.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're in that black market community, everything comes up available. And if he's willing to basically be in straight up contact with a 15-year-old girl over, whatever it is they're doing, oh, dude, there could be all kinds of shit we don't know.
You know what's crazy? Here's the thing that I found, and this stuck out in my mind when I read all the crap they had him with. When they were talking about the timeline, the time he took her into the hotel room, from the time they entered to the time they left was like 40 minutes. Now,
oh yeah,
kind of I don't know, kind of crackades Cody's got going on with his junk. If I paid $500 for a hooker, I think I want to have a little bit more than 40 minutes of playtime.
I haven't looked into it, but you know what? He probably ended up also taking her to a nice hotel, hence the valet. Like, I can't, the no-tell motel doesn't typically have a valet. I mean, they do. They just don't bring your car back. So, hey, here's my keys. Park my car. No problem. I got this. So, anyway, it was just like, you know what? Goddamn Cody Wilson. I've been trying to talk about Burt Reynolds for a week. I've been busy as shit. I want to talk about something fun. And now I got to talk about your dirty ass with 15-year-old hookers. And she's a hooker.
Hey, look, I mean, when you get right down to it, who doesn't want a 15-year-old hooker?
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course. But still, dude paid $500 for a 14-year-old hooker. And granted, the articles I've read, they've been very, very, very careful not to say she was a hooker because they're trying to make her out as the innocent victim. Look, this bitch is not an innocent victim. She may be 15, and I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying Cody's innocent, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to get burned, but she is not an innocent child. She's a freaking hooker, and make no mistakes about it.
She's 15 headed to the penitentiary.
Exactly.
Or dead with a needle in her arm. And that's,
Sure, but still. I mean, let's make no mistakes.
Hey, you know what? I want to get off this, and I want to talk about another a little bit more entertaining sex crime.
Okay.
Did you? Because people
sex crimes.
People will do crazy shit to get off. Did you hear about the guy that faked having Down syndrome so he could get home health care workers to bathe him?
I was talking to someone about that the other day. I thought, how freaking brilliant is that? This guy's an evil genius.
I just thought that was awesome.
So he fakes Down syndrome and he hires these healthcare workers to come in and bathe him and change his diapers.
Oh, it gets better than that. Oh, it's better than that. What he does, he gets on the phone and then he pretends to be someone else. to like someone's mother to like, hey, could you take care of little Johnny for me? Because we're going to be whatever. And then they show up and like, so these nurses or these home health care aides, whatever they call them, you know, like he's literally shitting diapers and stuff. And so they have to bathe them. And they're like, he's getting hard-ons and all kinds of shit. So eventually one of the girls gets suspicious. And she, you know, because he has to share his idea, you know, like you can't hide who he actually is. So they reach out to, like, they find one of his parents, and they're like, I want to talk to you about his care and his regimen and whatever, little Johnny. They're like, what are you talking about? He's not fucking special needs. He doesn't have Down syndrome. He works at the auto parts store or some shit or whatever. It's just like, oh my God.
Dude, but it's like, how freaking brilliant. You know how many times I've gone into bars at like 1 o'clock in the morning? Because if you put a bicycle helmet on you and walk in like you got Downs, you can squeeze all the boobies you want. And not only you won't get slapped or kicked out, the girls will laugh and think it's cute. I've totally gone off the freaking rails here with that. But it's kind of the same thing when you think about it. This dude came up with a way of, hey, how can I get my freaking jollies off by having these total strangers come in and bathe me and fondle my junk? It's like, holy crap. Yeah, he's going to prison,
right? I guess it depends on where he's at. It depends, because it's a nonviolent crime. If they're really busy and all the jails are full, he'll do a diversion. He'll, you know, they'll do some shit. So,
well, you know what? He's going to have people changing his diaper in prison. That's my guess.
Hey, you know what? Do you remember the girl that was we talked about it off pod, not on pod. Remember the girl that faked being a college graduate that was running for office down in Florida? It was the national news.
Yeah.
Remember us talking about her?
Yeah.
Melissa Howard. I just happened. I remember her name. She apparently, I didn't know this. I guess I should, but she apparently, you know, obviously she didn't win. So, and I was like, what happened to that girl? So I Googled her, and she apparently had to take a plea deal. The prosecutor's office down there was going to charge her with some kind of fraud.
Really?
Apparently in Florida, it is considered it's a crime to misrepresent your academic credentials. And it's like, okay, you know, that's fine. So apparently, I can't remember what they call the deal, but it's a deal where they agree to, it's not a no contest, and I don't think it's an Alfred plea, but it's a deal where she agrees to do, like, they sent her to 25 hours of community service, said you can't get shit-faced drunk for whatever period of time, and then if you meet all of these standards, then we will not charge you with a crime, so it doesn't show up on her permanent record. And it's just like, dude, I'm thinking, like, all these guys I've met over the years that lied to my face about being, like, in fucking Blackwater or being in fucking Navy SEALs.
Oh my God. Do you know how many Navy SEALs I've actually met in my life? No, seriously. This is a serious question. Do you know how many Navy SEALs I've actually met in person and shook their hand, hugged them, gave them a bro kiss and all that shit? I'll give you the answer. The answer is 0.
Yeah.
No, seriously. And now, special forces is a rule. I don't know, 20, 30 guys. I mean, Navy SEALs, 0. Green Berets, Force Recon, you start getting into other special forces attachments. I've met many, many, many guys over the years that I know personally that are either relatives or close personal friends. But my point is, when you start talking smack, because even though I've never actually ever met a true Navy SEAL, I've talked to probably about a dozen people that have claimed they're Navy SEALs. That's my point. Man, I'm telling you what, when you start talking shit and lying, you will always get fucking caught.
Navy SEALs are the Singer sewing machine 1911s of the military world.
Yes.
You know, of the hundreds of Singer 1911s that were made, there are thousands of them for sale at gun shows.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like, look, be yourself, be true to yourself. Don't fucking lie to people because you will get caught.
Dude, I have two stories about this.
40 years ago. This is the information age. There's the internet. There's Google. I swear to God, my computer listens to me. And every time I talk to you about something, I get fucking ads popping up for products. I mean,
I have two stories about this topic that I think are a little unusual. The first one is the first fake Navy SEAL that I ever met was sometime around, was pre 9/11, which makes it rare because a lot of people didn't know really what Navy SEAL. This guy, I met this guy. Maybe in 87 or maybe in 1988.
Okay.
I met this guy. So was it 30 years ago? So anyway, it was in a martial arts class, and he claimed to be a former SEAL, and it's whatever. And one thing I remember he would do, we would fight. And again, this is pre mixed martial arts and all that. And there were all these rules in the fighting. Like, we didn't wear pads or anything, but the rules were like, you couldn't hit somebody in the back of the head or the neck. You couldn't kick or hit somebody in the back because, you could really hurt people. So, but you could hit them in the face, so we would fight. And what he would do, and I'll never forget this guy, what he would do, he would fight backwards. He would literally turn his entire body. So basically, the only way he would fight you is he would do these back kicks. So you couldn't, his whole back is basically what he's giving you. So you have to attack his legs. And I just remember being like, he was kind of this wormy guy and just all these issues. And I was like, well, I guess he's a Navy SEAL. And at the time, I really didn't give it a whole lot of thought. I was like, I guess, I don't care. But I look back on it and I'm like, that motherfucker was lying through his fucking teeth. And the second story is this actually happened in 2000 and I don't know, it's maybe 2009 maybe. I had this guy come in my office. We're trying to hire him. And do you remember the Kurdistan thing? Do you remember that? Yeah,
I know. Kurdistan, yeah.
Yeah, so when we were so anyway, this guy comes up, he drove into town, and he's worked in the security, the contracting business, and he wants to work for this company. So he's sitting in my office, and he's telling me all these Marine war stories because he's a former Marine. And just casually, I let it slide. He couldn't even tell me what Marine division was on what coast.
Oh, really?
And I just let it go. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And I'm just literally like, fuck, dude, this guy's sitting here lying through his fucking teeth to me. And it was the most bizarre thing. Like, he drove 400 miles for this interview. And I'm like, all right. I mean, it just was, why, why are we doing this? I just, I wasn't going to call the guy out because I just, I wanted him out of my office. And he, shook hands, never call me, whatever. And he just never got a call back. And it was just like, dude, come on. These people, it's unbelievable. So,
yeah.
All right.
I mean, look,
well,
we don't need to get into that because, I mean, everyone's heard stolen valor stories and shit. But my point and your point, gets across to to what we've been talking about.
Yeah. So apparently now, if you're a politician claiming you went to college, I guess you can get arrested for it, which probably is not a bad thing. So. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Cody Wilson, for interrupting my fun podcast about Burt Reynolds, because I was so wanting to talk about I wanted to talk about Smokey and the Bandit. I want to talk about Cannon Run Ball 2. I wanted to talk about Fire Chicken Trans Am, and you fucked this all up.
Oh, man, I love Burt Reynolds. Man, he was my childhood hero, man. I mean, Hooper. Who doesn't like Hooper?
I mean, I love the Cannonball Run movies they were hilarious. Dude, I will never forget. What's the movie? Like, I'm a Lamborghini guy, and I think it was the Cannonball Run movies when they pull up. There's the two girls. They're wearing the nylon bodysuits with the zipper up.
Fun, yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I don't know, like maybe 8 or 9 or something. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I never, ever got over all of that. Like, I'd never seen a car like that. I'd never seen a woman like that. I'd never seen, and then I remember as I got older, I always thought that the Trans Am, Fire Chicken Trans Am was like a really cool muscle car. And then as I got older, I found out it wasn't a muscle car. It doesn't have any power.
Yeah.
Because it's a crippled car because of the oil embargo. It doesn't actually have any power. So, yeah. Thank you, Cody Wilson, for fucking up my goddamn Burt Reynolds fucking podcast again. All right, we're going to wrap this one up. This wraps up episode 108 of the John1911 Podcast. If you want to see any screenshots or links to stories on Cody Wilson or his 15-year-old hooker, I'll do my best to dig all that up, and maybe you can go and judge for yourself. And, just go to our website, John1911.com. It's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.